Hello, and welcome to the Only Sing When We're Winning podcast, brought to you from lockdown. Have we got Charlie with us?
Yes, hello.
Gareth, you're with us.
Hello.
Martin, you're with us.
Hi.
Cool. How's everyone coping with being indoors?
Well, I'm not actually indoors most of the time because I'm still working. I'm classed as a key worker.
To record this.
Yeah. So I'm a key worker, so I'm still going to work every day. So I'm not really one to talk on this. Charlie looks like he's been in bed all day and not moved, so let's go to him.
I go out once a week. I go and do a big shop, and then I come back, and that's about it.
I hope you only buy essential items.
I mean,
Come on,
I'm going out once a week. I can. There's a bit of frivolity in there, maybe.
I hope Daisy knows about it.
It's mostly her list.
Say no more. Say no more. Let's move on.
Martin's been outside. Look at the tan on him there.
Yeah, I know. Every day, go for my hour walk. Slightly more sometimes.
You're doing your government-approved exercise.
I am.
Martin's the one of the ones sunbathing, isn't he? I look at him. He's been the sunbathers.
He's walking to the tanning salon.
He's the reason lockdown has been extended.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Actually, we shouldn't joke about that. That's probably not in good taste.
Well, it's been a long time since we've done one of these podcasts. In fact, it's been
6 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, 6 years. Yeah, blimey.
Yeah, so it's been such a long time that I think we should probably each reintroduce ourselves, sort of say who we are, and also talk a bit about the football we've been watching over the few years since we last did a podcast. So, Gareth, start with you. You actually wrote an article on the blog the other day about your changing relationship with Everton over the last few years. So do you want to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, so 6 years ago, I was a season ticket holder at Goodison Park, used to go every week. And then I left university, didn't have the money for that anymore. And I think I've only been twice since. I think in those years since, I've actually been to the City grounds to watch Nottingham Forest more than I've been to see Everton at Goodison Park. None of them have been particularly enjoyable experiences, to be brutally honest with you. I can't remember the last time I saw Everton win a game. I can't remember the last time I saw Nottingham Forest win a game, but then I doubt Martin can either, and he's there every week.
That's true. Very true.
So my relationship with football has changed immensely in these last 6 years. I've watched less of it. I digest less of it. I follow less of it. Doesn't mean I'm any less of a fan, but I know everything that's going on with Everton, but general football as a whole, now that Liverpool look like they're cruising towards the league title and a European Championship, I'm hiding under a rock in terms of football.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Martin has now got a season ticket at Forest. So, Martin, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I guess I've gone completely the opposite way from an occasional match goer to going every week for my sins. Luckily, since I've been a season ticket holder, the good times seem to be coming back from a few years ago where Forest nearly got relegated on the last day.
He's going to try taking credit for this, isn't he?
I am. It's my season ticket.
You were a Man United fan during the treble-winning season as well, weren't you?
That's very true.
Sorry.
But actually, I've got into Spanish football a lot more as well, following Valencia. So it's clearly not a glory sport like you seem to think, Charlie. I mean, come on, Valencia are not as good as they used to be. So, yeah, much more interested in foreign football than I used to be. Evidenced by my games on Football Manager, I would say.
You guys went to Valencia, didn't you? The three of you went down there to see.
We can't do a podcast, mention Valencia, and not mention the weekend that the three of us, Charlie, Martin and I, went to Valencia.
Sorry, guys.
I don't think I will ever forget at the start of the Valencia match, that the walk that you have to do, because we were right at the top of the Mestalla. It was a trek up there, and Martin and I had already done it and got up there, and Charlie, you were coming back from a non-league match, and you did it at a sprint to make the kickoff, and your face when you arrived, it was pretty funny.
He's not built for sprinting. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, and I don't do well with heights at the best of times. To be honest, that Valencia trip could probably be a whole episode in itself, because there was Like, we were only there for a weekend, not even that. But there was so much that went on, like, football-wise during that trip. We could probably make an hour-long episode just out of that.
I agree. Yeah.
There we go. Add that to the list.
That's a nice, easy one for me, that one.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do that one while you're at work.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. I mean, actually, this is a good opportunity, I think, to ask Charlie a very simple question.
Mm.
How many football grounds have you been to in the past 6 years?
Right, okay. So I need to think. So when did we last do one of these? Was I back?
You were in Russia.
I was still in Russia.
You were still
right,
in Russia,
okay.
yeah.
So the answer is probably 115.
That's ridiculous.
I've done. I had to check this before we came in. I've done 122 in total. At the risk of sounding incredibly selfish, if the virus hadn't done its thing, I'd be on about 130 by now. But I cancelled 3 separate plans because of the virus, and it's spread across the world. Yeah, I'm on 122 total at this point, but the vast majority of those have been done in the last 3 years. But yes,
because you've really embraced the ground hopper lifestyle, haven't you? And also, you know, football abroad, like having been in Japan for the last year or so.
Yeah, so I was in Japan for almost 18 months, and I did 35 different grounds while I was out there. But it was very much taking advantage of, like, the fact that some games played on a Saturday, some are on a Sunday. So pairing them up over a weekend was much easier than it would be over here, certainly in terms of how much money I'm spending. So yeah, that was quite easy to rack up the numbers there. Plus it's a summer league over there as well, so you actually get the nice weather, and there's so fewer games called off for weather-related reasons.
That's an interesting point you make. What do you think is going to happen with this season then? I mean,
What with this
the way I
season?
see it, with the World Cup in a couple of years being in December, why don't we just go to a kind of summer league until that happens?
Or what kind of... yeah, you could play it over a few years. So kind of the last bit of this season, play it through to like August, and then do almost like have the summer break, and then restarting just after Christmas or something. Yeah. And then, kind of cycle it back ahead of the World Cup after that. Yeah, you could do.
I can't speak on this topic because I'm unashamedly biased. Hashtag null and void.
Well, yeah.
There's no way I can even try and dress that up as a reasonable opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to stop them winning the league is a massive plus point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. It's going to be really difficult to try and schedule anything like a regular season for a long time, because the coronavirus is going to come in waves. So there's going to be times when it might be okay to play football. There's going to be times when it won't. And particularly what's going to keep happening is that certain players will test positive. And then once that happens, that team at the very least is out of action for a few weeks.
And anyone who's played them for a couple of weeks. Yeah. I think the coronavirus, this is a great opportunity to say that one of the biggest changes in our lives over the past couple of weeks, really, is that one of us has been blocked on Twitter by a particular football team.
One of us has an opinion on this.
A very strong opinion that he is not afraid to voice over Twitter while subtly tagging the football team in question.
I don't think there was much subtlety there, was there, Josh? Go on. We'll give you the floor, Josh.
Is my cue to speak? Well, I mean, my journey is pretty opposite to Martin, really. And I've been a massive Nottingham Forest fan. Was a season ticket holder for the best part of 15 years growing up. But sort of, I mean, our friendship is quite weird, because as Martin moved to Nottingham, that's when I moved away.
I'm sure.
And so for the past 10 years, I've been going a lot less frequently than I have been. But yeah, I mean, I'm still, been a diehard Forest fan, and I think I've covered this in a lot more detail in the blog that was published last week. I say it much more eloquently on there, so I don't want to repeat it. But essentially, it's just you come to the realization that it's not the same club that I knew growing up. Certainly the way Forest, and to be fair, not just Forest, a lot of other clubs in the Premiership, Championship have behaved over the pandemic. I find it very difficult to support them anymore. And for the last 3 years, I've lived in Exeter, got involved with a really, really good football club down here. I volunteer with the club. I've helped with a book project that's hopefully going to be published later this year. So I would probably say now that I am more an Exeter City fan. And yes, I got blocked on Twitter by Forest.
What was the final straw, though? Everyone has to know. What was the final straw?
Well, it was quite amusing to go on Twitter and find out that I'd been blocked. I mean, who could not find that funny?
But come on, this was done in such a Josh way that what happened is someone tweeted an article about how good Stoke were being.
Yep.
And then Josh just put, "Are you seeing this at Nottingham Forest?" It's a very petty thing for them to block you for that.
Yeah, they're quite a sensitive bunch, aren't they?
Yeah, snowflakes.
Let's face it, it's probably some 15-year-old keyboard warrior, so, you know.
What, Josh? Oh, look at him. He's been growing that beard for 6 years, you know, people.
He shaved his as well, I saw him.
I thought he'd lost his razor, actually. I thought in the move down to Exeter, that was one thing that didn't make it.
Gave it a bit of a trim yesterday, actually.
Oh, it looks good. I'm sorry.
That was his birthday present to the wife.
Bit of the wrong... Ah, yes. His wife's birthday. Ah, yes. Happy birthday, Tanya.
Yeah,
I just got that.
She had a pretty nice day. It's a good job. Like she was talking with her friend in the evening because Exeter City were replaying their playoff match with Oxford United in 2007. So I got a chance to watch that.
True love.
Yeah.
True love.
Wow. I wish
Right, host. Come on. Yeah, come on, host.
Let's get into the bulk of tonight then.
Okay, so the what I want to do with this blog going forward is have a weekly feature where we debate or like a big sort of footballing story of the week and each give our take on it, maybe get a bit of a debate going. Now, unless anyone's been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you probably noticed there's not an awful lot of football-related matters to talk about. The one that I decided to pick was the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, who clearly is not a very busy man at the moment, doesn't have much else on, got a lot of time to talk about football. He has been saying that with everything that's happening, footballers should be taking a pay cut and giving the money to our beloved NHS. So do we agree with him or not?
Oh, that is a fire starter, isn't it?
Yeah, he picked the wrong target, I think.
Yeah. Obviously, he's going after the wrong people. Yes, footballers are very wealthy individuals, and yes, they're not doing a great deal at the moment. But there are a lot of other wealthy individuals in this country who are not doing a lot of good at the moment anyway. And can I just be slightly political and suggest that they might give slightly more to the Conservative Party than footballers do? But if he's going after football clubs, maybe target the billionaire owners rather than the actual footballers, who actually came out quite well, didn't they? They signed a pledge and said they would do it. So
yeah, but it gets to the point of at what point are you doing this out of the goodness of your own heart, and at what point are you doing this because you're being told to?
Yeah,
like okay, footballers do earn a stupid amount of money, and that's been something that's gone on for years. But at the same time, they are very good at what they do. And if I was one of the best players in the world, I'd be expecting to earn as much money as I could for it as well. And it's my money, and I pay the amount of tax that I'm supposed to be paying. So what I do with the rest of my money is my own business and no one else's. If I then choose to give it in a supportive way, then fine. But
absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I don't particularly hound most celebrities to know what money they give to charities. If they do or they don't, and it's their prerogative at the end of the day. It's very difficult to put yourselves in those shoes. It's very easy to sit here and say, if I was a footballer, I would donate 80% of my wages at the moment to the NHS. It's easy to say that. It's a lot more difficult to actually do it in practice. Yeah. The bigger point is we shouldn't have to donate money to the NHS. It's not a charity. It should be being funded correctly.
There is that. I think that's
another day. This is a football blog, not a political one.
Martin, bring it back to football.
Bring it back to football. Well, let's face it, but yes, footballers earn massive wages, but imagine what taxes they already pay, which go to the NHS.
Yeah.
Was it
the NHS more than we are anyway?
Was it the PFA that came out and said that if footballers actually took the 30% pay cut, that the government was suggesting that the tax contribution would actually be £200 million less or something? So actually, by doing that, the NHS would be getting less money.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I bet you they want them to take the pay cut but still pay the tax.
Well, quite.
So, what do you think, Josh? Unusually quiet.
It feels like it's incumbent on me to maybe create a bit of debate here. I would say that I agree with the point that, I don't think Hancock is the right person to be making this point, but I do agree with what he says. Certainly, and if we're talking about clubs that are owned by billionaires for the most part, you've got millionaires paying for them, yet they're turning around, quite a few of them are turning around and saying that we expect the taxpayer to pay our ticket office or our kitchen staff. There's something about that doesn't sit right with me, and the fact that a government minister might be a bit hypocritical in pointing it out doesn't mean that it's not a good point.
I think he went after the wrong point at the wrong time, and he listened to the wrong people. The amount of people I've seen on social media say, why aren't the footballers doing more? And I think he's thought, actually, I can win myself some popularity if I make the same point, but probably didn't think it through all that well.
Nope, that's politicians for you, generally being wazzocks to try and get popularity.
Well, and
wazzocks. That's the word of the podcast already. Stop that competition.
That's the title. And yeah, I never thought I'd actually be agreeing with Piers Morgan on a point, but when he said to Hancock himself, so will you be taking a pay cut as well?
Yeah, that's actually quite a good video, that one. That's quite entertaining watch if you want to chase that down.
And the thing is, and we don't give footballers almost enough credit in ways, because it's not just the fact that they play 90 minutes on a Saturday. They're training several hours a day. They're doing media events. They're doing charity events. So it's still a 40-hour week job for them.
Yeah,
and they're limited in doing their job as much as anybody else is at the moment.
And at the end of the day, after I've finished a day, if I go home and decide to tweet something, I'm not going to get retweeted by millions of people. No one's going to see it. So They have to think about their behaviour at all times of the day. We've seen it already with this lockdown. People like Kyle Walker and Jack Grealish who have been found to be rather dubious activities that probably they do every day, but at that time of heightened security. Well, sorry, yes, allegedly. If we're going to be, but yeah, at a time of heightened security, everything that they're doing is already more in the media spotlight than it would be. So Josh makes a fair point. There probably is an argument to be had with it, but it was the wrong person. It was the wrong time. And it does kind of feel like a deflection away from more pressing matters.
I think possibly another element of this debate, and I'd be particularly interested to see what Charlie thinks here, is that we're almost talking about completely different industries when we talk about Premier League footballers versus lower league footballers. And there are going to be an awful lot of clubs lower down the pyramid whose players aren't on multi-thousand pound a week, whose clubs, frankly, are going to struggle to survive without ticket money. Yet they're all going to get lumped in as just greedy footballers the same.
Do you know, I don't think that's as much the case as you think it is. I've not got the list in front of me, but I know that I think at least 10 clubs have resigned from their leagues already. One of which I know has already folded ahead of next season, whenever that happens. So because of the non-league, the FA's decision for step 3 of the pyramid and below to be just null and voided immediately. Several clubs have already had to resign from their leagues. Burbage in Leicestershire, they've already said that they won't be fielding a team next season, just because of the running costs and the lack of income they're getting at the minute. There's a few others. South Normanton have already said that they're resigning from the league and they don't know where they're going to be playing next season. So it's down into semi-pro, because players are more paid an appearance fee than an actual wage in some cases. The bigger problem for most clubs is actually the fact that they can't use the resources they've got. Like, they can have the clubhouse and the bar open 5 nights a week. They can't do that anymore. Plenty of clubs, I know, like in the Midlands, like a couple of examples are always like Tamworth and Bedworth. They've got 3G pitches and they have maybe 100 teams playing there each week. And you're thinking how much income that they're suddenly not getting from that. So that's where their big problem is. So if anything, because the players are only ever part-time or sort of pay as you play, that's an issue that they don't have to worry about. But it's having the funds to, even quite conveniently, as Josh did that, to keep the lights on. That was well timed without intending it. But they just can't afford to actually keep operating, and that's biased, but that's more of a concern than whether Premier League players are donating an extra 1 or however many percent.
And this absolutely matters as well, because I know it's easy to say that football doesn't matter at a time like this, but at some point the country's got to get back to normal. And a big percentage of what's classed as normal in this country is going to a football match on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah,
this is the thing. So I've seen plenty of people say, "Oh, football doesn't matter. There are bigger things," and I can see the point there. But for some people, it is literally everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big part of their weekly routine and their mental health in a way.
Especially for the supporters of the lower league clubs.
Exactly. Yeah, and well, the thing is with some, and this kind of goes into another argument about volunteering, in that some people that volunteer, that's pretty much, again, all they do in a week.
Yeah.
And now they've suddenly not got that to do, and they've just been told, well, they're interpreting it as that their efforts are null and void, like their efforts haven't counted this year. And that will drive a lot of people away. And that's going to be a real problem.
It's going to be an interesting debate about how you restore trust in it.
Completely. And I think...
Because Josh is right, this is going to happen in stages.
It is, and...
I mean, he's, still now.
Yeah.
By name and nature.
But you see it, well, I've seen it certainly on social media when certain news outlets have said, football might be coming back on this day. And a lot of the comments are just, it doesn't matter. And I think we're actually going to end up doing more harm than good by trying to force a resolution through, rather than letting this go through when it should naturally happening.
Defends him, Charlie.
We just got a message up that just said Charlie is the host now.
Yeah, I know.
Martin and I are scared for our lives. Now.
Well, the only problem is that if I'm the host, the other host, that Josh, that is now not here, also has the running order. I know that we did have a couple of other things.
This is why we do these, to test them out.
It is. Well, I have got something that I was thinking about earlier, which we can come back to on another episode, but it's something we can chuck in now. Where are you most looking forward to going back to when the football starts again?
It's Goodison Park.
Yeah.
I haven't been for years.
You've not been
I was
yet.
meant to be there on Saturday. We
kind
had
of the
this.
perfect
I'd taken the
excuse then.
weekend off work to go to Liverpool, see my dad, go to Goodison. Obviously, that hasn't happened. So, yeah, as soon as it comes back, I'll be there straight as soon as I can. It's really weird. I haven't missed it. I've missed it, but now I can't. You know when they say that you miss something when it's not there more? And, yeah, it has really hit me. I am quite sad I haven't been for a few years. So, Goodison. It's boring. It's obvious, but it's the only answer I can give.
I would say the City ground, but I mean, I can see it every day when I wake up.
You don't really miss it. You're getting a night's sleep now.
So I'm going to have to say the Mestalla. It's a no-brainer for me. I love the city. I love the ground. I love the feel of the city in Valencia. And as you guys know, I love the sun, so that's a bonus. Watching it doesn't happen very often in the UK. So yeah, it'd have to be the Mestalla for me.
Yeah, we've been thinking about another trip to Spain for the football, and Martin's only prerequisite is that there's a beach within walking distance.
Absolutely. While Charlie went to watch the non-league football, I went to the beach.
He did.
Perfectly.
What did you do with Josh? Josh always says you had paella.
We did after the beach though. Charlie was gone for a good 2 or 3 hours.
I was gone for a good few hours, yeah.
Charlie's the kind of person that when you plan a weekend trip to Spain, 2 football matches isn't enough.
It's enough. I can do 3. It's the first time it's the second time I've done 3 in a day.
And yet, when I met all of you, when I was introduced to you, I would have said that Charlie was the one of us who was least interested in football.
I was at the time.
Yeah.
He's a West Brom fan, come on.
Exactly.
Boing, boing.
I haven't got much to be excited about, but...
no, only every other season. Oh, Tanya Hockley still is the host now.
He's back.
He's back.
Is he? He's almost back.
He's wading through washing.
Still says connecting.
Oh, well, he can't hear us. This is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, but it's whether we're recording him still. Oh, hello.
Oh, that's true. He's
thinking about it.
Yeah, he's thumbs up.
He's back. He's back. But yeah, on that note of an extra Spanish trip, because I now live within a few miles of Bristol Airport, I've been looking at destinations, and Malaga is on the list as an EasyJet destination, Martin, from Bristol. So Malaga could be an option next year when this all starts again.
I'll come along to the next one as long as, as long as this doesn't come to a decision about whether I have to go to a beach with Martin and Josh or a non-league football match with Charlie, because then I don't want to be stuck between that particular rock and a hard place.
Oh no, for the last, I think with the exception of 3 games in the last 2 years, I've gone on my own every single time. So it's not like I'm not going to be clamouring for people to join.
Well, that's a rejection. That's the biggest rejection I've ever had in my life. Looks like you guys are coming to the beach. I'm coming to the beach with you guys.
Nice.
We did have a great afternoon, didn't we, in Valencia? Like beer, tapas, paella, beer. It was a great afternoon.
He didn't mention the beach. He didn't like the beach.
We didn't go to the beach.
I went to the beach.
Where did you go, Josh? Where did you go?
I don't remember the beach. Maybe it was all the beer.
Did you go to the aquarium?
No.
I've got the photos to prove where I was. Martin's got the photos to prove where he was.
You don't want the photos from Josh.
This isn't the first 2 hours Josh can't account for either.
It's not. No.
Manifestory.
Josh, do you want to change the subject for your own safety?
Yes. What I'm going to do on the blog over the next few weeks is I'm planning to write a series of articles, 1 a week, about different grounds that I've been to with different football clubs that I have a real soft spot for, even though I'm not particularly fans of theirs. Like then,
oh, he's gone again. We'll never know.
And I wondered if that might be for you. And Charlie, with all the ground you've been to, which club did you like the most?
Oh God, you can tell I've not prepared for this.
He's not got a lot to choose from.
No, exactly. There's only a couple. Here we go. There are some where you kind of come up the steps and over the crest, and you just think, "Oh my God!" And the first one I did in Japan is definitely up there. It was the Saitama Stadium. Not so much for the club side that played there, but as I was getting there on the train, I was sort of reading up on it. And it was the same stadium that England played Sweden in the 2002 World Cup, which was my first World Cup.
That's
So
Nicholas
there's
Alexanderson, wasn't
so
it?
many memories for me of that. And then suddenly I'm there.
Yeah.
And there's still there's like a lot of plaques and information boards and all this stuff about the World Cup still there. And it was just, I could have spent all day there. I was just so happy. And then in a future trip, I got to see the Japan team play there as well, which was quite special. It was very cold, but it was quite special.
Actually, I've got a story about that England-Sweden match.
Go on.
So at the time, I was with a group at a camping trip, and they all watched. They had the caravan. They had one caravan with a screen on, so we all went in there to watch England-Sweden. And my favourite Everton player at the time was a guy called Nicholas Alexanderson, was a Swedish right winger, right back, and he scored the opening goal in that match. And I celebrated so much, I got kicked out of the caravan. I don't remember much else of that match. I know that England equalised, but that's about it.
That World Cup will always be the best. I might write something on that as well, because there's just so many memories tied into that tournament for me.
You did a whole series about your time in Japan, though.
I kind of do, because
you've got so much you can talk about.
Yeah, I was talking with someone else about this, and just the amount of different competitions I saw. Like I saw, if I can do this quickly, the first 4 levels of the men's game, the first 2 levels of the women's game, university, high school, and international games. Oh, and one indoor game as well.
Did you get to lots of the World Cup stadiums?
I think I did 4 or 5 in the end.
That's good.
Yeah, one of the aborted trips was to go to South Korea for a weekend, and I would have done another 1, maybe 2 while I was there. So I was slowly making my way around. But yeah, I definitely did at least 4, possibly a 5th. I would have to check on the 5th one.
So let's get this right. When we did this initially, you were in Russia,
yes,
who have obviously just hosted a World Cup.
Yeah.
When we've done it now, you've been to Japan, who hosted a World Cup. So when we do this again in 6 years' time, Brazil, South Africa.
No. So I've done 2002.
You did Russia before.
Yeah. So I've done 2002 and 2018. So 16 years back from that. So yeah, USA 90.
USA 90.
Yeah, so next time so in 6 years I'll be doing a tour of the American World Cup Stadium.
Good luck with that.
Well, it'll be 2026. It'll be the World Cup year again.
Yeah. So Martin, what's your favourite club that you don't support?
Favourite club I don't support? Wow. I've always had a soft spot for Tottenham. I'm not sure why. It's a bit of
Is it because that's where all the Man United fans are based, and you're still secretly a Man United fan?
I remember loving their strikers, Berbatov, Kanute, Pavlyuchenko even. I don't know why. I like
Pavlyuchenko. What a guy.
Sheringham, King, Defoe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pavlyuchenko.
I'm surprised that you've not gone for a club that Brendan Rodgers has managed.
Well, yeah. I mean, Swansea were a beautiful side to watch, weren't they? But, yeah. And at Leicester now. I said at the start of the season, Leicester would be up there. You all laughed at me.
Well, I mean none of this is on video.
I got lost have been because of Leicester.
Yeah, at the time we had fair reason to.
I remember we did a prediction league once, and Martin predicted that Liverpool would win the league by 18 points.
We should have done it this year, for God's sake.
And he likes a bet as well.
What season was that?
14-15, I think, maybe. They didn't. Spoiler alert: they didn't win the league by 18 points. Yeah, I think it was the year they came 5th. Yeah, but no, that's
18 points.
And that is not his worst prediction. I remember going to a Forest Blackburn. We went into a betting shop the day. You put a bet on that one of Forest strikers would score a hat trick.
Wow, was I drunk?
I don't know. Possibly.
Saturday afternoon, Martin having a beer and being in a betting shop. That sounds.
Yeah.
Was that when we had Darius Henderson up front?
It wasn't Henderson. Was it Billy Sharp? Did you have Sharp for a time?
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah.
It was. And I remember it well because Forest lost 3-0. So it was the exact reverse of what Martin predicted.
Were you there the following year when we won 1-0 in the last minute?
What a moment that was. That was right in front of us. In the away end. I don't even support Nottingham Forest, but when they score a last minute winner, it's not my favourite Forest moment. My favourite Forest moment, we always have to mention this, is when me and Charlie decided that we were going to celebrate Forest goal by hugging each other.
We celebrated
only
3
to find out it
seconds
hit the post.
Yeah.
On Sky Sports, wasn't it? No,
Yeah.
the one on Sky Sports was the one where I think we were at Brighton and Kyle hit the post in Charlie's face. Amazing.
Because you two, Gareth and Charlie, are next to each other, and Charlie, you're looking particularly stunned, and Gareth is just you're
completely nonplussed, yeah.
I mean, I was down south. I'm a northerner. I can't show emotion.
Yeah.
So,
but I think we can all agree that Robert Tesher put in a Paul Scholes-like performance that day.
He did.
He was Martin's favourite player for a very long time.
About 10 minutes.
You had his name on the back of a shirt, didn't you?
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Tesher on the 32 or whatever his number was.
Nobody over the age of 15 should have someone else's name on the back of a football shirt.
Hello. Controversial here. Charlie, I know you. You've got loads of baggy players on the back of your shirt.
I haven't got a single one.
Danny Dichio.
Jesus, I remember him as well.
Looks like him as well.
Might be stretching with that one, mate, but all right.
Josh and comparisons has never gone down.
It hasn't, has it?
Remember that time he compared me to a really fat darts player? Do you remember that, Josh?
Yeah, I do.
Darts player.
I can't remember. I just remember being very insulted.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, probably best.
Yeah, Gareth, your favourite club you don't support?
I've been thinking about this. I'm possibly the only one who's actually done any thinking about this, and I've got a few.
It's going to say Liverpool.
No, no. I like bright colours. I don't know if you can tell. So I've always liked Norwich simply because they play in yellow, and anyone else who plays in a Blackburn, but quite frankly, who doesn't have a soft spot after what? Sorry, Blackburn. I meant Blackpool, obviously. After what Blackpool did in the Premier League that year, that was incredible. I know they didn't stay up, but what a year Blackpool had that year. But I think possibly over the years it's developed more and more recently. Lincoln, because I went to uni there and they were absolutely terrible when I went to uni there, and then all of a sudden I left and they became world beaters. And Forest Green Rovers, which does lead me nicely into Josh, but I do like the idea of what Forest Green Rovers are trying to do. And I don't agree with people who say that it's wrong to just buy the league, because we need more places to have football teams, and especially football teams with a particularly good moral compass like Forest Green Rovers.
Yeah, and if I can shamelessly do a plug,
there we go. I led you into that.
I have just written a blog about Forest Green, the first of the clubs that I have a soft spot for. We had a pretty good time there a couple of years ago, didn't we, Gareth?
We did. That was one of my last football matches, as it happens.
3-3 cup tie.
It was a 3-3 draw. I think a month later, I've never been to a match since then. One match after that, and none since then.
Because just to tell the other two the story, I think Forest Green were 1-0 up. Exeter then went 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go. Forest Green equalised, scored what should have been a 90th minute winner. Exeter scored a 94th minute equaliser.
Yeah, it was a sensational game. Neither team could defend, but you don't get to a football match to see good defending.
I tell you what, the replay was actually even better, because I went to the
I wasn't invited to the replay.
It was a classic game because Forest Green came to Exeter. They were 1-0 up. Exeter got a man sent off, and somehow Exeter won the tie.
Probably by scoring more than Forest Green.
Yeah, that is what happened. And then in the third round, I went to the third round match with Charlie because it was Exeter West Brom.
My one and only trip to Exeter City.
I've not been yet. I've not been. Martin, have you been yet? No. We're going to have to,
Stood in the home end wishing I was in the away end.
That's an unusual one for you.
It's not the first time I've done that, actually. And both times Albion with the away team.
When was the last time you went to an Albion match?
Was it the one we went to?
Yeah, Josh and I went to... Was it Albion? Was Albion Villa? Was it Blackburn? God, yeah, it was Blackburn, wasn't it? Yeah, funny. So I've been to the Hawthorns 4 times now, and I haven't seen Albion win a single one of them. So I'm suspecting that I'm the problem here.
You're the anti-Martin.
Yeah.
You should get a season ticket. Watch West Brom go all the way to League 2.
Is there a particular team that we don't want in the league anymore? And
Liverpool.
I was going to say, should I go through all the Liverpool games for the rest of the season, but it restarts again and they'll somehow lose the league?
Well, if the derby is the next match, so obviously we know that if football comes back, it's probably not going to be with fans. It's going to be behind closed doors.
It's going to be tasty either way.
It is. I'm a bit upset though, because if you have a 6-month break, say, from football, and then it comes back and the first game back is a Merseyside derby, how good would that be? I mean, we're going to lose because we've only won 4 since 2000, but still.
I'm going to be getting shares in every beer company in the country.
And possibly every hospital as well.
Sure. Buy shares in Heineken.
Not Chang beer anymore, I can tell you that.
But that Chinese sponsorship did get you Lee Tier. He wasn't bad, was he?
That was Keijan. Chang beer, a Thai brand.
Yeah.
That was Keijan. Yeah, they got Lee Tier. And also Lee Weifeng, who... I've just given away my obscure noughties footballer reference.
There we go.
There we go. It's gone now. Yeah, he was... Lee Tai was actually quite good. I think it's Lee Tai. He was really good and quite an unexpectedly good signing. Less said about the other guy, the better, really.
That actually seemed a pretty good way to move on to the quiz. So Martin is going to do a weekly quiz on these podcasts. So over to you for the first quiz.
Yeah, sure. Well, I thought we'd start with a Premier League worst round.
Derby,
the answer to everything.
This is
the only reason he's done this. If you're ever wondering why Nottingham Forest fans do quizzes about the Premier League, it's just to rub Derby in it.
This round is quite an interesting one. I think you'll be quite surprised by some of the answers that come up. I don't know how we're going to do it. Shall we do it? So I'll ask a question to maybe, let's do alphabetical order. I'll ask it to Charlie first. The first question, if he gets it right, he gets the point. If not, I'll pass to Gareth. If he doesn't get it, I'll pass to Josh, and then rotate.
Yeah.
What's the scoring system?
So I've got a couple of questions that I'm going to give you extra points for because they're so obscure. Most of the questions, you get it right, you get a point. That simple.
Cool. Okay.
For a bonus point, you can give me the number that goes with the player as well.
Oh, we're talking players, not teams here.
We're talking a mixture.
Mixture, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I presume that phones are banned from this particular...
Phones are definitely banned.
Yeah, okay, that's all right.
Definitely banned. You can have your phone for the next round, which we'll do next week, because that's an emoji quiz, so there are lots of...
That's okay.
Oh, nice one, nice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we get started with question 1. Shall I think it's Charlie first?
Yeah.
That's great. That's good for me and Josh.
Good luck. Okay.
Then you'll start playing Under Pressure by Queen in the background.
Okay, which current Premier League player holds the record for most passes without an assist?
God. How many passes without an assist? Do I get any? Can I ask for a clue or?
No.
No.
Not on the first round. I'll give you a clue for the second round.
Oh God. Passes without an assist. Makes me think it's a
goalkeeper, isn't it?
It makes me think it's either a goalkeeper or a defender. Van Dijk.
It is definitely not Van Dijk. I think he assisted a goal in the last game.
I was on the other side of the world.
Van Dijk's actually quite a prolific assister, I think.
Well, yeah, but I didn't watch it. That was my point.
All right. Okay, pass
All right, so that was a really bad answer, Gareth.
answer.
I'm going to go with Granit Xhaka.
Oh, he's kind of closer. Right,
well.
right position, wrong player.
Well,
Right
it was
position. Okay, so he's a midfielder.
Oh, wait, Josh got a clue there.
Sorry, yeah. Well, if you go third, I'll give you a clue. It's fine.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
He might not get it. I mean, midfielder could be anyone, couldn't it?
Lucas Torreira.
Not Lucas Torreira, no.
I half expected Josh to name a player who hadn't played for 10 years.
Yeah, for current.
Steve Stone.
Steve.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to go back to Charlie. I'm going to give you a clue so it's easier.
Go on.
Okay? This player plays for Chelsea.
Okay, so it's a Chelsea midfielder, right? Well, I already know who it's not going to be.
I think I know who this is.
I think I have an idea.
If you have Chelsea, it could give it away. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it might not.
It might not.
Charlie's been on the other side of the world.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just getting
Clue
Chelsea's squad list up. Hang on.
It's not Frank Lampard
It's not Lampard, no.
or Michael Essien.
It's probably yeah.
Not
Rude
Frank
Hullet.
Lampard,
Is it
right?
Rude Hullet? Ray Wilkins.
He's showing his age there.
Oh God. Right.
I'm going to time you out. I'm going to give you 3 seconds.
No, I can't even.
Oh,
I can't think of a reasonable
You,
guess.
Gareth.
Kante.
It is not Kante.
This is not gonna be
Is it Ethan Ampadu?
No.
Who does he play for now? Because he's on.
Chelsea.
Yeah,
He's on loan.
He's
on loan
he's
with
got to be on loan
Leipzig.
somewhere.
Leipzig, yeah.
Leipzig.
Yeah.
Does he
right.
play?
He played against Tottenham in the Champions League. He was fantastic.
Well, it's not hard. Go on then. Well, tell us the answer, Martin.
Okay, the answer, so no points for anyone. The answer is Jorginho.
Oh,
Oh, fair play.
2,332 passes without an assist.
did you count all of those just to make sure that was an
I
accurate
did. I
number?
got this off the internet, so it could
How
not-
How many of those were successful?
probably about 10%, I say.
Yeah.
No, actually, he's probably about 98%, but he passes backwards every time, so that's not hard.
He play for England.
Yeah, he could. Okay,
Better than Declan Rice.
0 points for anybody.
Oh, excellent. Great start.
Start as we mean to go on.
Okay, second, we're going to go to Gareth for the first.
Hey.
Yes, yeah. So, which current Premier League player holds the record for the most defeats for a player in a season when they've scored in games?
When they've scored in games.
50 players who've scored in, I don't know, 11 games in a season and they've lost all 11.
Okay.
You've got to guess that they're not in a very successful team. I mean, that's a pretty good starting place. Or they're just very unlucky. I know that Gareth Bale once had the record for most number of starts without a win at one point in his life. And I know that Jack Grealish was involved in a hell of a lot of losses for Aston Villa in their first stint in the Premier League, but I don't think he scored in much then. So I don't think it's Grealish. I'm not sure. Who's near the... Bournemouth lose a lot, but they score a lot. Josh King.
Good guess. I can see your logic, but incorrect.
Okay, worth a go.
Okay, I've been... When Gareth said that it's got to be someone that's played for a bad team, that made me think it's got to be Everton.
Damn it.
So I'm going to go for an ex-Everton player, but I think it's going to be Jack Rodwell, now of Sheffield United.
He doesn't score that much.
Incorrect.
Doesn't play much.
He doesn't. Nice logic, though. I like that.
I like the logic as
I
well.
like the logic, yeah.
Charlie.
I was thinking along the lines of someone who you never see have a good game, and yet you think, why have they just signed him?
Incorrect. Gareth.
Fine, okay.
Carry on.
I want to know who he was going to say. Nicholas Anelka.
Jordan Ayew.
Not Jordan Ayew. That's a cracking guess, though. That is actually a cracking guess. He is a brilliant player. This
That's the
season.
thing. He was at Swansea, and then you think, hang on, why did Palace just sign him?
Yeah.
He was at Villa as well, wasn't he?
Well, that just proves my point.
Yeah.
He seems to do a tour of the struggling Premier League clubs.
He's played for them all.
Yeah, Albion next season.
Yeah, well, exactly. Or Forest. Sorry. Yeah.
Go on, then, Martin. Next one.
Okay, I'll give Gareth a clue because he might get it. Okay, it's he was a Premier League winner in the miracle season.
The miracle season. So the Leicester one.
It wasn't that season where this happened. It was a couple of seasons later.
Ooh. So he played for Leicester in that year. Majority of that side has stayed together. So it can't be a current Leicester player, surely. It's not Jamie Vardy, is it?
Correct.
Hey!
Gareth gets the point. 9 games he scored in 2017-18, and Leicester lost in each of them.
That's a hell of a stat. Well played. Well played.
I'm going to give you 2 points for that because that wasn't a great clue. So 2 points for Gareth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's say if you get it without a clue, you get 5 points. So don't get too ahead of yourself.
None of these guys are going to get anything.
Josh is
I've
gonna win.
won. Just.
Over to Josh. Third question.
Go for it.
Which former Premier League player holds the record for most Premier League own goals?
Most own goal.
Wow.
I actually knew this one without looking it up. Just saying.
I'm torn between a couple of choices here.
Do you want to tell me your choices, and I'll guess the other one?
Just for comedy value, because these are the own goals I remember, it's Jimmy Traore.
Unfortunately not.
Scorer the best own goal, though.
Best one,
Best own goal, yeah, get it
Best
first.
own goal, yeah.
Actually, no, that's not true. Lee Dixon for Arsenal.
I have
Before
seen
our
that
time,
one.
mate.
Turns it. No, he loves his own. He loves his
Yeah,
feet
way
from
before our
30
time.
yards.
I've seen that. One of my favourites is who was it? Was it Font for Crystal Palace? He slices it into the top corner from the corner. Have you seen that one?
No, there was one, and I think that this was a long time ago. I can't remember the guy's name, but he went to sort of clear it over his own head, hit himself in the face, and it bounced in. I'll have to dig that one out for you, but there have been some absolute belters.
It could be this guy. It could be this guy.
I'm not going to guess it though. So it's me, isn't it?
It is. The suspense.
I think we need the timer for Charlie.
Can we speed this up a bit? 3 seconds.
Bill Babb.
Not Phil Babb. Sorry, Gareth.
Titus Bramble.
Oh no, not Titus Bramble. I bet he's up there though. I bet he's up
Yeah,
there.
he has to be up there. Every time you'd watch Match of the Day, he'd score an own goal.
Are we playing the obscure footballer game already?
Okay, so so I need a clue.
Need a clue. I'm going to give you a clue. He scored 10 own goals in his career and
That helps.
played for Manchester City.
Manchester City. Okay, well that was like because my other guess was going to be Gallas, so it's not him.
Oh, Gallas. That's not a bad show.
So okay, let me think. Played for former. Oh, it's going to be Richard Dunn.
Spot on.
Yeah, as soon as you said Man City, it had to be
Man City,
done.
yeah.
It had to be Richard Dunn.
2 points for Josh. Nice.
1 point, come on. No, I'm joking.
Okay, if we're doing the 5-point rule, Charlie's got an easy one. I think it's an easy one. So I might give you 3 points if you get it without a clue because it is easy.
No
Okay,
pressure.
Charlie gets 2 Charlie points, though, surely.
Who are the only Premier League team to let a 4-goal lead slip?
Oh, easy.
Oh!
Arsenal
Yeah.
Yes, can you name
Yeah,
it?
it's Arsenal, yeah. Yeah.
against Newcastle.
It was. What? Okay. I'm only giving you 3 points though because that was an easy one.
Oh, what?
Go on, get him to name the Newcastle scorers, then you can give him the extra 2 points.
Oh, okay.
He's got to search it.
I remember one of them very clearly.
Yeah, I remember
everyone remembers the last one.
Sheikh Kyoto was one of them because it was an
Yeah.
absolute cracker from outside the box.
It was like the 94th minute as well, wasn't it? It was last kick of the game or something.
I couldn't tell you any
It
of the
was the
others.
last game, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck. If you're going to get all four, I would be very impressed.
though.
Oh, wow.
I get a point for each one, right?
No, no.
2 points for all four.
2 points for
Or
all
1
four.
point for two of them.
You've got one of them. You're halfway there.
He's been down Lace Market again, hasn't he? Oh, God.
Actually, it's quite misleading because one of them scored 2, so...
One of them scored 2. That really doesn't help.
I couldn't tell you.
Papis Cisse or Demba Ba?
Okay, no, that's it. That's the game. Joey Barton 2.
Oh, God.
Leon Best.
Wow.
No.
2 points for Charlie then.
Go on then.
Okay, question 5 for Gareth.
Here we go.
It's quite a horrible one, sorry.
It's 5 points in the back here, lads.
Which former Premier League player hit the woodwork the most times?
Oh, well, that's just... Oh. Patrick Berger.
Oh, nice guess. No, it's not Patrick Berger.
The reason I went for that is he always had a shot from about 30 yards out. So odds are that would hit the crossbar or the post quite a lot of times. So, yeah.
I'm thinking it's likely to be a midfielder, someone that was in the Premier League for a long time. Kevin Kilban?
Oh, Kevin Kilban, what a legend.
No.
Good with his feet.
Charlie, any guesses?
Josh has got a point. With the more appearances, the more chances they got hit in the woodwork. So I'm just going to guess Gareth Barry by default.
It's not Gareth Barry.
I haven't got a clue.
Okay, I'm going to pass back to Gareth with a clue.
What's the clue?
He's hit the woodwork 44 times in the Premier League.
That's not really a clue, is it?
Striker
Striker.
who won the Premier League for his second Premier League club.
Oh.
I think I know this.
I think I might as well.
I don't.
I think I've got it. Can Josh gets to go first?
Second Premier League club striker, Tevez.
Oh, nice guess. Not Tevez.
It's RVP.
It's RVP.
I wasn't thinking about RVP. Well played, Josh.
Did you have that, Charlie?
Nope.
No.
What did you have?
Shearer.
Oh.
It's a fair guess.
To be fair, good guess, yeah. Okay, Josh is in the lead and he gets this question. I'm only going to give 3 points for this one because it's a pretty easy one again. Which Premier League team suffered the biggest ever defeat?
Was it... Hold on. Because...
No phones.
Hold on. No phones. Because I know there were 2 9s in Premier League history. There was Man United Ipswich in the 90s. Then there was Leicester Southampton this season. I think which one is it? It's one of those 2, isn't it? So if I don't get it, Charlie's going to. Ipswich.
Incorrect.
Yeah, you got it now.
See, I'd forgotten the 9-0.
I think there's another 9.
And I was going to go for an 8. 9. No, but I think the one you're thinking about, I think that was a 9-1.
It was a 9-1, yeah. It was a 9-1.
It was Tottenham Wigan, wasn't it?
It was Tottenham Wigan, yeah.
Wigan
yeah,
played
Tottenham
in that
Wigan,
bright orange kit that you liked.
I probably got it upstairs.
You probably have. Well, it'll be your Christmas present if you haven't.
Yes.
Was it Southampton then?
It was Southampton.
Yeah, it was Southampton. Yeah.
That almost felt like a trick question.
Yeah. I thought of Wigan first, and then I remembered Southampton's.
Another 3 points for Charlie then.
Well done, Charlie.
And now he has an easy one. Charlie, another easy one. Sorry, guys.
He needs them, to be fair.
Okay. Easy point, Charlie. Which Premier League team managed the fewest number of points ever?
Oh, Come on.
Come on.
Is it Derby County?
It's Derby County.
It's Derby
That's 2
County.
points. No. That's
Yeah,
1
minus-
point.
That's minus 2
I think
points.
that's 1 point.
That's 1 point for the amount of wins they got in that season.
It's only 1 point, Charlie. I'm sorry.
All right, bonus point if you can say who the win was against. Because
Oh,
I know this.
I know that as well.
I know this. I know who
Yeah.
scored the goal.
Oh, I can't go that far.
Right, Martin, you get the 1 point if you can do it.
Oh, come on, mate. You know the answer.
Wait, I do. I think I do. It's Man United, right?
It is Man United, yeah. It was Man United they beat.
Wait, no, it wasn't. It was Newcastle.
Was
Was
it?
it?
I thought
I'm sure it was Man United.
Because I thought they got 11 points and 4 of them
I'm
were
Googling
against
this.
Newcastle. Yeah, yeah, we can go.
What? I swear it was Man United.
I thought it was Man United.
Let's see. It's even got its own Wikipedia page.
1-0 victory over Newcastle. Fair play, Josh.
Wow.
And they went unbeaten against Newcastle that season.
That's a great quiz question. Who is the worst Premier League side of all time? Well, by default, it's Newcastle.
Didn't Newcastle go down that season as well?
No.
No, was that not the season they went down?
I'm not making
I
any
think
more
it was the
predictions.
season after they went down.
Were they unbeaten against United? Did they get 2 draws against United?
I think they definitely got 1 draw, I remember.
Yeah, they got. Yeah, if they didn't win, we're going to stop that.
You know what happened? They beat United the following season because they got them in the cup, in the or whatever the Carling Cup was called then. It was because I remember Commons scored, they won 1-0, and then they lost in the second leg.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
I bet this is a really horrible question, isn't it?
Yeah. Kind of. Charlie only got 1 point for that, so come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, fair point.
Question 8. Which Premier League team, current Premier League team, had the longest start to a season without scoring?
Oh.
There's only 20 teams, guys, so we can go around.
Without scoring.
Yeah.
How recent are we? Oh, that's a clue. We can't go with that.
Well, it's a current Premier League team. That's kind of a clue as well.
Yeah. This is probably going to be really obvious. I'm going to kick myself. I want to say Burnley.
Not Burnley.
Okay, I'm going to go completely left field because Stuart Pearce had a season in charge of Man City where they were grim. So I'm going to go Man City.
Not Man City. I think if that was a question, who went the longest without winning, I think it might be Man City.
Problem is, I think Josh is onto something there, which makes my guess a bit different. Was it? No, I'm going to stick with my original guess. Is it Villa?
Oh, it's not Villa.
I just want it to be Villa because I'm secretly a Coventry City fan.
Okay, for 2 points, I'm giving you a clue, Gareth.
Go for it.
It was the 2017-18 season.
Oh, that's so recent.
And I'd say they generally have a problem with goals. Pretty well known.
It's not Everton, is
It's
it?
Everton.
It's not Everton.
Thank God for that. I'm happy with that, losing 2 points there, just to establish that we are not that bad.
Josh?
I think I know it. I think I've just remembered who it was.
I'm stumped, so I'm happy to lose this one.
2017-18.
Josh, just guess wrong quickly so I can get the point.
Okay.
Josh, please guess
Charlie, win
right.
this round. Come on, please.
Come on, guys.
He gets this right now, I'm just
It's a
gonna count.
current Premier League team, so it's not a Stoke or a West Brom or. Okay, that's.
Well done, you've understood the question.
Yeah, well, okay, no, okay. Norwich.
Not Norwich.
Oh, Charlie, it's your moment.
Oh,
Freaking open goal right now.
oh.
He's coming up last minute penalty at the Hawthorns. Is he going to bury it?
Is it Palace?
It's Palace!
Hey! It was Frank de Boer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. Ah, well played, Charlie.
Or was it Pulis then? I can't even remember.
No, it was De Boer because he had, was it 3 games or
No,
something?
but I mean afterwards, their saviour was Hodgson.
Hodgson.
Yeah.
It's Hodgson, yeah. They love Hodgson there. Why?
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, Roy.
2 points for Charlie. Okay, as it stands, we've got Charlie on 8 points. 9 points. Wow.
It's almost as many as Derby.
Keep talking. Let's get it up to 10.
Josh is on 4. Gareth, you're on 2.
Nah, that's fine. I got the first 2.
And it's actually Charlie's first shout on this one as well. Is it? No, it's Josh's.
It's me.
Yeah.
Josh, yeah.
Okay, we've got 2 questions left. Question 9. There are 2 answers to this one, so multiple points on offer.
Okay.
Which former Premier League player shared the record for the most red cards?
Ooh.
Why am I last on this one?
I'll give you 3 points. I'm only going to let you guess one, Josh. I'm not going to let you guess both.
Okay, so 2 answers.
Just one answer for now.
Okay. I feel like someone is going to guess Joey Barton, so it may as well be me.
Incorrect. Sorry. Charlie.
Right, okay. I'm going to go for another obvious one and say Roy Keane.
Incorrect. Gareth.
One of them's Duncan Ferguson.
Yes, 3 points for Gareth. Duncan Ferguson.
Can I guess another one? Can I take a stab at the other one, or
It's
are
going
we
back,
passing on?
going back to Josh.
Going back to Josh. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Do you know how many?
Yeah, can I have a clue, please?
I think it's 9.
Oh, it's 8. Close
8.
enough.
Oh, you're close.
Yeah, 8. A clue.
Hmm.
He's French.
Oh. That's interesting.
I'm going to put you on a timer in a sec.
I think his computer's crashed again.
No, it's not. Hold on.
Okay.
The obvious one is Vieira. Go Vieira.
Correct.
No.
3 points for Josh.
3.
Yeah. Oh, no, 2. Sorry, 2, yes.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I'm a stickler for rules here, guys.
Yeah.
Can't have him getting 2.
So I'm 1 point ahead of you going into the final question.
The final question. You know what? I'm going to start. Let's see what we're on. So Charlie's still on 9. Gareth is on 5. Josh on 6.
Hey.
So we're going to make this question worth 5 points.
I'm going to lose now.
This is a big bonus question, and it's impossible, to be honest. So if you get it the first time without a clue, I'm giving you 10 points, which you can take forward to next week. Which former Premier League player got the quickest red card ever?
Whatever in the Premier League or just
Yep.
ever in world football, right? Okay. Oh, I've got a feeling like I know this as well. Oh.
It's not Joey Barton, I'll give you that.
It's not a Joey. All right, fine. That doesn't help. And I don't get any clue yet either, do I?
Nope. When we go down to the clue, it's going to be 5 points. I'm putting you on a timer, 3 seconds. Any former Premier League player.
William Gallas.
Not William.
I have absolutely no idea.
Gareth.
It's tough without a clue because obviously we don't know how quick we're talking here, because the quickest Premier League in red card history could be 10 minutes into a match. I doubt it is, but it could be. But also they could be sent off just as they came on the pitch from being subbed. I know there was a Merseyside derby a few years ago when a Liverpool player got sent off within minutes of the kickoff. The Greek defender, I can't remember his name to save my life. No, I can't remember his name. It's probably not him though. The Greek defender for Liverpool.
No. I was just going to let you agonise for a few seconds. Okay, Josh, over to you.
Was it? It's
Here
a
he comes.
Portsmouth player, isn't it?
I'm not giving any clues at this stage.
Okay. Is it Robert Prosinecki?
Out of the blue? No, it's not Robert Prosinecki.
Who is Robert Prosinecki?
France 98.
They're not Portsmouth. So I'm going to give you 2 clues, and if you get it, I'm still going to give you 5 points because it's still obscure. 12 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be something stupidly local.
Yeah.
And then what's the other clue?
Yeah.
Sheffield United.
Oh, Charlie's got this.
Is it
Look
Chris-
at his face.
Is it Chris Morgan?
No.
Damn!
Over to Gareth.
Oh, I was hoping Charlie would get that, to be honest.
So was
I don't want this back at me. Former Premier League player, so we're looking at Sheffield United's last stint in the Premier League. I can't remember bloody one of their players, apart from Phil Jagielka, and it's not Phil Jagielka. They can time me out here. Was it? Oh, was it? Was it one of their strikers?
I don't know.
No, I can't even think of Sheffield United players now. Don't know on that one. I'm going to pass on this one. Yeah.
Over to Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember all that many players of that Sheffield United team. Michael Tong?
Not Michael Tong. I'm going to give you one last round. I'm going to give you 2 more clues because it might help.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
3 points if you get it on. Let's go. Started his career at Manchester United. Played for Northern Ireland.
I've got a player in my head, but I just don't know if he ever played for Sheffield United. He probably didn't even. He probably didn't even play for Man United. Now I'm thinking about it.
Okay, good start.
Does he play for Northern Ireland?
He doesn't even play for Northern Ireland. No.
It's Republic of Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's not Ryan Giggs.
it's not Frank.
He didn't play for United. What are you talking about?
Oh. I know it's wrong.
The agony.
I know it's wrong, but I can't think of anyone else now.
Say it.
I'm gonna wait until he tries to time me out.
I actually think I do know who this is.
Oh,
like,
no.
I have actually
No. No.
2 seconds.
Is it David Healy?
It's
No.
not really. That's not bad, to be fair.
I think I couldn't remember if he played for Sheffield United or not.
He did play for Northern Ireland.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah. I think he was at Man United as a youth. Actually, I'm going to search that while Gareth gets it wrong.
Yeah, I am going to get it wrong. My knowledge of Northern Irish footballers isn't where it should be, considering I've got family out there. I do know a Northern Irish footballer who started his career out at Man United, but I don't think he played for Sheffield United unless Johnny Evans went on loan there.
Not Johnny Evans.
Okay, so I know someone that started at Man United that was at Sheffield United in that season. I'm not sure whether he was Northern Irish, but the one I'm going for is Danny Webber.
Not Danny Webber.
Can I just can I get a point for correctly remembering that David Healy started at Man United?
Oh.
Wow.
Damn.
No.
I mean, if you're getting one for Healy, I want one for Webber.
Was Webber even Northern Irish? No?
I'm looking this up. I think he's English.
I don't think he was.
Okay, do you want the answer?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
His first name's Keith.
Oh, Keith Gillespie.
Keith Gillespie.
That was a good quiz.
That was a really good one.
I can't fault you there. That was well played. When Martin said that he wanted to do a quiz, we were a little bit anxious.
Wait till we do the rest of the rounds. I've got some cracking rounds coming up. So next week we've got the emoji quiz. Week
Excellent.
after, I've got an A to Z. So you're going to have to name the highest ever Premier League goal scorers for each letter of the alphabet.
Oh my God.
Or Q we can work out, surely.
The problem is he's told us this now, so all we've got to do is go to the
No,
local
you are
goal
not.
scorer.
If someone gets X or J, I know you're cheating. So don't even try it.
Okay, fair enough. I won't cheat. If those two decide to, then that's up to them. I'm a key worker. I've got more important things to do.
We've got another couple of rounds home and away where you get a question about each of your teams, and everyone else gets to have a guess as well.
So everyone's going to get Charlie's points.
Yeah, basically. And then a bonus round where we're going to head abroad.
Oh, that's Charlie's round.
I'm going to start researching Valencia now.
So at the end of the first round, let's add up, let's tally who's in the lead. I think it might be Charlie. This is unheard of. So Gareth, you are on 5 points.
Oh, 5 points. Excellent. I'll take that.
Josh, 6. And Charlie remains on 9. Nice lead to take into round 2.
You watch me waste it.
I'm pretty sure you are. Sorry.
Right then, let's pass this back to Joshua.
No.
Well, to anyone that's still listening, we hope you've enjoyed it. We've probably gone way over time, but we've had a laugh. Hope you have too. We'll be back next week where one of the others will be hosting. Until then, look after yourself and take care.
Who is hosting next week? Just out of interest, just before we end this, who's going to do it?
I'll do it.
You'll do it? Yeah, cool. Anything, any research for us to do? Any challenges?
Challenges. Shall we do... Worst transfer in living memory.
Worst transfer in living memory. Okay.
Biggest splurge first turned out dramatically wrong.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Next week. There you go. Quick little preview.
We'll see who can bring everyone to agreement. Mark,
None of us.
probably not. Let's go with that. And I'm going to send you all of the emojis for next week's quiz so you can start thinking about it.
Okay.
It's a pretty good one.
I'm excited.
Okay.
What's up? Yes, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for hosting, Josh.
And Charlie, co-host.
Hi.
Yeah.
Host.